Hello, my name is Leanne Morrow, and today I'm going to talk to you about donating money to PBS.org. Now, you might ask yourself, Leanne, what is PBS.org? And I would say to you, it's public broadcasting service. It's the service that brings you Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, and programs like that for kids, but also programs like Nova for adults. Just a second, and my thing should be, this is the time where it should be meshing up. Okay, so to start, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what PBS is. And as I said before, it's the public broadcasting service. It's a non-for-profit organization, meaning that they don't try to make money, so the only way for them to get money is for it to be donated or government funding. And their mission is to educate, inform, and inspire. They're also voted #1 in school readiness for children and in public trust nationwide. They're #6 amongst all broadcasting and cable networks nationwide. And they only receive about 14% of the national budget. So, it's not very much when you consider, the millions and millions we spend on other things, just give that little bit back to the kids. And so you might ask yourself, what has PBS done for me, the viewer? Well, they've brought many programs throughout their 30-plus year run, including Masterpiece, which started in 1974, Nova, the science and math program for both children and adults from 1974 to present, Sesame Street, which is one of their first programs from 1970 to present, The Hollow Crown, which was a 2012 show about England and those kinds of things, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which was also one of the first shows, which went from 1968 to 2001, and so many more things. There's Arthur, there's been so many, Clifford, like all of those shows you remember watching as a kid and thinking, wow, this is good for me, making me smarter, came from Sesame Street, or from PBS. So you might even ask yourself, why does this matter? Okay, yeah, they brought us a lot of good shows, and yeah, they don't get that much money, but it is important to know why things matter. And it is highly education for not just children, but for adults. There are things in Nova that you may never have known if you hadn't watched it. And it's extremely important for families that are living in rural, and more poorer areas, because that's really all they have to watch and learn from before they go to school. And the early development of the education and stuff you have before you start school, so when you're under the age of 6, is extremely important to the education you will get for the rest of your life. And then even in schools, once you get there, everyone from my generation remembers watching PBS in school. You watched Clifford on rainy days at recess, and you watched Teletubbies, and all of these things that were educational and that were significantly better for you than what you'd find on Nickelodeon or Disney. The problem right now that that PBS is facing is that government funding could easily go away from PBS. Our current president now doesn't want to fund it because he doesn't see it as a reasonable thing. It's not bringing him any money, it's not bringing America money, and it's not something that you can live without it. But you shouldn't have to. America is one of the richest nations in the world, or we claim to be one of the richest nations in the world. And the idea that children shouldn't be able to have education on television and radio, to me, is ridiculous. And with that money being taken away, no, all of PBS wouldn't disappear, but it would in time. Without private donors, many programs would be canceled without the government funding. The cause of the problem is that, as I said before, many people in political office don't see this as importance. Back in 2012, Mitt Romney talked in his political campaign about not wanting to keep it. Trump has said many times that he thinks it should be slashed, we should just take it away, get rid of it, why does it matter? And I'd also like to point out that these are also very wealthy men who don't have to worry about, I could easily pay for this, whereas not all Americans could afford to pay for good education, pre-education. There are many ways to give to PBS. One of those ways is easy, just go to PBS's website and donate money. But they also have other ways, like they have planned giving, which is a way for you to donate money for future generations. So, if you're like me in your 20s, or, maybe a little older, but you want to wait to have kids, and you're like, well, I don't want to donate for other people's kids, I only care about mine. It's fine, I get it. You want to give everything you can to your own, but they have a thing called planned giving where you can donate however much money you want, and then you can say, I want this to go in 10 years and 20 years when I want to have kids, and then that money will be used then so that your children can enjoy the programs. They also have an endowment fund. I'm not sure how to explain that. There's a lot of information about it on the website. And then, of course, like I said, there's online donating. You can, go to their website, pbs.org/foundation, and you will find these, and they will give you more information than I can. In conclusion, please donate to PBS. It's not just important for me or for poorer kids, it's important for everyone, because you don't want to live in a society where, if you grew up poor, that means you didn't really have good education, and, half the people are dumb or uneducated, and half the people are, kind of there, but not really, because keep in mind, every public school that I've ever been to has used it. I mean, I've had college classes where we watched a PBS documentary or something, because it is for both adults and children. And also, another great way to, if you don't have a lot of money to donate to PBS, you could vote for, political parties who will keep these things going, and also for bills that will pass for these things to be protected. That about does it. Thank you for watching my speech, and have a great day.